All right, let's talk about something we've all been through, studying. We're going to dig into how to go from that frantic last-minute cramming to actually feeling confident and prepared, all based on some pretty cool science. Let's get into it. You know the feeling, right? You've spent hours, maybe even all night, with your notes spread out, you've highlighted everything, you've reread every single chapter. You walk into that exam feeling like, okay, I got this. And then you look at the first question and your mind is just blank. It's one of the most frustrating feelings in the world, and it turns out there's a really specific reason why it happens. And that reason has a name. It's called the illusion of competence. This is a sneaky little trick your brain plays on you. When you keep rereading something, it starts to look really familiar, and your brain mistakes that familiarity for actual mastery. But here's the problem. Just recognizing something on a page is a totally different skill from having to recall it from memory when you're under pressure. So where does this illusion even come from? I mean, to beat this thing, we've got to understand why our brains fall for this trick in the first place. Okay, the number one culprit, the main villain in this story, is something almost all of us do: passive reading. This is anytime you're just letting information wash over you. Rereading your notes, highlighting half the page, just kind of scanning the textbook. It's what most of us think of as studying. But here's the paradox, right? It feels so productive. You're putting in the hours, you're highlighting, it feels like work. But the science is crystal clear on this. It just doesn't work very well. It creates that false sense of knowing the material, it's terrible for long-term memory, and that information, it's the first thing to disappear the second the pressure is on. So if passive reading is the bad guy, who's the hero of our story? Well, let me introduce you to its much, much more effective counterpart: active recall. And the difference here is like night and day. Passive reading is easy on your brain. It's just about recognizing stuff. But active recall, that forces your brain to do the heavy lifting. It makes you pull the information out of your own memory. It's like a workout for your brain cells. Every single time you successfully recall something, you make that neural pathway stronger. And the results? I mean, look at this. They are absolutely staggering. Studies have shown that students who use active recall methods remember around 57% of the material. Those just using passive reading, only 29%. That's not a small difference. We're talking nearly double the effectiveness for the exact same amount of time spent studying. That's huge. Okay, so we know it works, but what does this actually look like in the real world? How does this give you a real, tangible edge when it's test time? It all comes back to this one crucial idea: recognition is not recall. Seeing a highlighted term in your textbook and thinking, oh yeah, I know that, is a completely different mental process than being forced to define that term from scratch on an exam. Active recall is what trains you for the real event. And what's the payoff for all that training? It is massive. Consistently using these techniques can boost your test scores by up to 20%. Now, think about what that means. That's the difference between a C and an A. That's a total game changer. All right, so you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sold. Active recall is the way. But how do you actually do it, especially in a way that's efficient and doesn't just add more work to your plate? Well, it really boils down to three core strategies. First, taking practice tests. This is the ultimate form of active recall. Second, using flashcards, not just looking at them, but constantly quizzing yourself. And third, and this part is so important, actually analyzing your mistakes to figure out why you got them wrong and what your weak spots are. And here's the good news. You don't have to build all this from scratch. Technology has really caught up. There are modern learning platforms out there, like FlashGenius, for example, that are specifically designed around these very principles of active recall to make it all easier to manage. So let's see how tools like this actually help. Instead of you just guessing what to study, they can create an AI-guided learning path for you. They let you simulate the pressure of a real exam, and instead of just saying you're wrong, they can give you smart AI-powered insights into why you're wrong. Everything from interactive flashcards to built-in timers is designed to make active recall a seamless part of your routine. Now, when you're looking at different study tools out there, you'll see they're not all the same. Some just give you basic practice questions. Others are way more advanced with things like AI guidance, really deep analysis of your mistakes, or even support for multiple languages. The trick is just to find the one whose features really match up with what you need to make active recall work for you. So when you put this all together, what are we really talking about?
It's about a fundamental shift in your mindset. You're moving away from just trying to get through the material and toward actually achieving mastery.
And the real payoff here isn't just a better grade on a test, although that's great. It's about walking into that exam room feeling confident instead of anxious. It's about building knowledge that actually sticks with you long after the class is over. And it's about making your study time so much more efficient and targeted, so you can actually get your life back.
Ultimately, if you remember one thing, let it be this. Stop thinking about studying as something you do just to pass a test. Start thinking of it as training. You are actively training your brain to perform, to retrieve information, and to succeed when it really counts. So, I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you sit down to study, ask yourself, am I just going through the motions to pass an exam, or am I ready to start training for true, lasting mastery? The choice and the incredible results are all yours.